Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Tuesday, day before going back to work. The crap day of R&R. Yeah. What do you do? Last day, got to get back to work tomorrow. So yeah, trying to get stuff sorted out. I've got to pack bags. I've got to get the vlog done. Just chasing up any new stuff. There's a fair bit of stuff happening overnight. We've had I got the new video up. I hope you've gone over and checked that. Hovea Falls. Now, this is the one I'd somehow misplaced, and so it was the first test of the Dana boots, the Caprines. So I took them out. This was a wet weather test for them. A bit of I think it was about 5 or 6K hike. Pretty short one compared to the big one that I did at work in the canyon. So go check that out. Some really nice stuff. It was just sort of starting to get a bit of rain. This week's just been a busy week for the family, so I haven't had a chance to really get out and check out that I wanted to with the rain. The joys of not having a car, and the joys of being a dad. That's what you got to do. That's family. So yeah, it's been a good week. It's gone pretty quick. I've had a good week with Jack, so that's probably the most important part of life, and I had a ball. Today he got to swimming. His first day he got his grommets out. That's basically when you get water in your ears young, it sticks in there, so you got to get these little grommets, which mean you got to wear bloody like little gel things or blue tack in there every time you're near water. Today was the first day without that, so you got to let his hair loose in the water. It was bloody sensational. So yeah, from a mum and dad's perspective, we were pretty happy with little Champo. It was pretty exciting news for us, so that made the whole week. So super happy. So I've had a fun week with him all week. I've got to spend a heap of time, and yeah, it's been good, really good, really sort of relaxing, and just I guess take away stress of work and working on the channel and getting all that stuff done. Where I'm sort of ahead of schedule as far as I'm concerned, so I was pretty happy with that. Getting the video out last night's good. Gives me this whole week. I need to concentrate on some unboxing videos and some other stuff, and that's what I'll be trying to put out this week. I've got a heap of that stuff I need to get done this week, and then I'll go into next week for I'll give it a break for the photography side. I've got some more stuff there, but I just want to give it a little break, and then I've got to get some of these other ones out. It just don't seem to ever catch up. But it was good to get that out with 2 videos I released last week with the Dana Boots trials. Wanted them out, so for the competition. If you haven't seen that competition, shoot over and see part 1 and part 2 to check that out. If you've seen Instagram today, I did give it a little tip for the competition, so a big tip actually. So if you go over, check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe on the Instagram as well. That'd be cool. And yeah, so it's all gone reasonably well. It makes a big difference with that computer, I do have to say, when you can sit there and in full speed just punch through and chop and change and not have to wait a minute for things to move and do its thing. It's been a massive change to my life, actually. It's just mind-boggling that how fast this new computer is compared to my old girl, what she can do. So that's really good for I guess, give me some sleep and give some time to rest and recover and bounce back. So that's good, because it's been the last 12 months I don't think I've slept probably more than 4 hours every night. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. And things are starting to slowly come together. And once I get a few of these unboxing and review ones out the way, it's going to be even better. I'll be sort of back to, I'll have like 1 week in advance, and then I'll probably start running out of ideas, and that's when I'll get tricky. But yeah, big news overnight. Obviously, ICAST started, well, for us it was yesterday, but time zones always stuck me around. So basically it started last night for us, which was yesterday for the Americans. ICAST, if you haven't heard of it, I have got a couple of videos from last year. You can go check out what it's all about. Obviously this year's changed a bit. It's normally the biggest fishing show in the planet, or on the planet. Basically all the new releases for all your new gear. Obviously a lot of it is bass orientated towards the American market, but a lot of the, probably 80% of the stuff, including clothing, footwear, storage, tackle, can all all filters towards different countries, Europe, Asia and Australia. So it's a really good, I guess, crystal ball into what's coming for us, I guess, in Australia for 2021. Because it generally does take a while. I know last year, I did do a big shop, I think last year for the Barra Classic. And the stuff I got, I didn't get till Christmas or just after Christmas. I think you'll see, I think the previous year was like my big Christmas unboxing. And that was all fishing gear. There was a couple of grand's worth of fishing gear. That was insane. I'd saved up for months and months and months to buy all that and got it all on Black Friday sales. So 20% plus off everything. So it was really, really cool. But all that come from researching through the ICAST and knowing what was good and what I could use to give us a better opportunity to try and catch a good barra. So obviously a lot of it's a lot lighter. A lot of the reels and the rods are a lot lighter, but they are coming through with some different models and some heavier duty stuff. For example, Daiwa, and I'll go through, I just picked out about 4 or 5. It's tricky this year. They've got some videos done up, but it's very non-logistical, I guess. I don't know if that's a word, but it was very hard to track. Normally, your tackle warehouse will have day 1 through to day 3, and it'll have all the best stuff of each day, and it's easy to follow through and go through, check stuff. Today it was like a live event, and there was no time frame, so I ended up going back to the website and just seeing what was new and releases. And to be honest with you, it was nowhere near the releases that we normally get. I'm not sure if companies couldn't get stuff made in time to release. The hold-ups in China, which is obviously where a lot of it's made, has caused, I guess, the products to be put back. They might be Christmas releases, or just bring them out, just not release them and just drop them onto the market later in the year once they know they've got the stock. So I think in that regards, it's a lot lighter than the previous years. It's obviously tech. We've seen what's happened with tech and what is put back with the Canon, how that was put back. Apple's pretty much released nothing. It's just all software releases, which is pretty much very unusual for them. 6 months, 7 months into the year, and they haven't released any new products of any sort of scale. They've added like an extra graphics card in a laptop and pretty much nothing else. So if Apple's struggling, obviously these little guys compared to Apple, the smaller fishing companies are going to be struggling as well to get their products done. But there has been a few. One of the good ones I did think reel wise, and it's probably more and I have to be sort of a little bit biased in this regard. Barramundi's obviously a lot bigger than a bass. It's a different sort of fishing. So when I look at stuff, I sort of tend to look at it in the eyes of how can I use this to catch a barramundi. So bear with me if it's not really something you're into, but I still think they're good products, and it does give you a bit of a vibe, and I do like to look at different products in different segments as well. Daiwa, well-known brand. Their Tatula or Tatula, or however you say it, Tatula range of reels are pretty well known. They've increased sizes this year on one of their models, and they've gone up to a 300. Normally it's like a 1 or 50, a 100, 150, 200, something around that. Well, they've made a 300 this year just for the big soft plastics and those bigger fish and big long crankbaits that they tend to be using a lot more in bass. I know Carl Jockerson, the Elite Pro that is going really well in the States at the moment, he uses big swim baits, like big suckers, and so he uses really strong rods and big reels, and he needs all that crank. I think he uses the Tranks 300s from Shimano, and they're a really heavy duty reel. So to have a 300 come out of Daiwa, that's pretty cool, and I think that'll do very, very well in the current fishing climate, I guess, the way they're fishing at the moment. So they did increase the handle size. It is a TWS, so it's got that T-wing system on it. It's an alloy frame, 110 millimeter handle, so a little bit more cranking compared to, say, the Calcutta, which is, I think that's about a 90. So it's got probably about another, it's got another 20 mil. So it'd be about this far out, I guess. So that's pretty cool. What else? It's 6.3 to an 8 ratio. So no super high speed ones, which we've seen a lot of lately. But I still think that's a fairly decent. 6.3 will be probably the big seller, I think, on that one. Just because it's more of low and slow. If you're cranking, you just want nice slow retrieves. And just somebody with a lot of grunt that can take a big fish. 2 weight on the weights, or line weights, 12 pound at 260 and 14 pound at 215. So can obviously take a fair amount of line, so that's really good. And that's priced about $270 US. Over on the rod side, there was a few there. 13 Fishing had a lot of reels, a lot of rods, a lot of baits. 13 Fishing, I think, I'm pretty sure is an Australian company. They're both sides of the channel. I'm not sure if they're wholly Australian, but I'm pretty sure they started off as an Australian company. They were pretty huge this year. They've got a lot of releases. I'm not sure how or why that is, but they seem really prevalent this year, and they've got a lot of different things, a lot of really nice reels in there. They're building up a really good reputation, but also on the rod side, there's a fair bit coming out from them on both spinning and casting side as well. Now, the one rod I did look at is the Megabass Destroyer USA P5 casting rod. If you know Megabass, it's definitely not the cheapest. It's well up there in eye-watering sort of money range. They're handmade, specifically from Japan, made by Megabass. The Destroyer is probably one of the original rods. If you read up on it, it's basically their core line. It was his main rod he built when he built the company. Looks really good. They're using 5D graphite composite technology. Yeah, there's a fair bit involved in what they're doing. There's a lot more, less real or less area for you to hold. You're feeling more of the rod, so you get more sensitivity. It's not going to be cheap. It did look like a really nice rod, but at $500 US, you really need to be super keen, I think. So that's nearly $1,000 for the rod. So look out on that one, but it does look nice. They got lengths from a 6.9, which is pretty cool. So that's a good size rod, up to a 7.2, and obviously varying sensitivities on that one as well. Now, lure side, there was a couple I did look at. There was some really nice ones which were similar to what they used to call stump jumpers here in Australia, and I guess a little bit like the river rats, the killer lure river rats. 6 Sense Movement 80X crankbait. It's a 3 foot floating lure. Look really, some 25 different colours, 3D paint schemes. It had that nice little curve, and it obviously a good little bounce back up. So if you're smashing trees or trawling through trees, or just want to get right in the timber, this I think would be a really good lure to have a crack at that, and without getting too many snag ups and losing too many lures. About $10 US a pop, so that's about the right price. I mean, it's about $15-16, so it's very similar to what we're paying. There was a really nice craw fire, which was like a Daly River special colour, so they're green and with a red belly. Yeah, I think that'd do really cool. So they look like a really well, and 6 Sense have come a long way. They've made a lot of really high quality lures. Obviously, this does have VMC nickel hooks on it, so you're going to have to change them over for proper real hooks that we need in Australia for the barra, but that's not a really big issue, easy to do that. But definitely worth having a crack at that one. I think they'll be really nice. And the last one, which was a pretty funky one, but I think from what I read about it, it's made by Lunker Hunt. It's called the Big Eye Tail Spin Jig. Really short little flat blade, like a blade lure, I guess, with a big massive tail spinning on the back. Basically, they're saying you use this, and it had a massive big eye on it, so it's really sort of prevalent eye, sticks right out. to drop straight down. So I guess if you know the barrel is sitting on a snag, much like you do with your shads and your big soft plastics, drop them straight down and just sort of jig them and try and get those barrow to wake up. With this big tail spin on it, this basically like a steel weight, you drop this down, got that big eye on it, and then basically that thump of that blade just pumping, and the blade's as big as the actual body, so it's pretty funky to look at. $5.50 US, so pretty darn good. Put a decent hook on that, a decent VMC hook on it. I think it'll go really well. And it obviously, apart from the hook getting snagged, I think it'll be definitely a good option for you to check out. And that was probably the best 5 I've seen of today. I'll keep you up to date as the releases come through. We should see some more, hopefully next day and the day after. Go up on the sites and I'll keep an eye out and see if there's anything new. But some good stuff coming out so far early on. Right, bit of fun stuff. Mckenzie Bezos, Jeff Bezos, Amazon. You would have all heard of Amazon. Obviously, him and his wife, if you hadn't already heard, split up a while back and getting divorced. She copped a big whack of shares, I think something like 20 million Amazon shares as part of the settlement. Basically, because of the COVID thing and the boom price of Amazon, it's nearly $3,200 US a share, which is insane. She's now staring down the barrel of becoming the world's richest woman. I think Betancourt is currently on 65 billion. Now she's the lady that I'm pretty sure it's L'Oreal. She invented L'Oreal company and all those group of companies, the beauty market. She's worth about 65 bill. Well, obviously, at 63 bill, Mckenzie's not far off, and there's pretty much no doubt that her Amazon shares are still going up, and I'm pretty sure she's going to end up well past the 70. She could be the first woman to hit 100 billion and, not own a company. So that is pretty funky and wild. And considering, I think, Bezos has something like 57 million shares. It just shows you how much he's worth. So that's pretty insane. So he's got nearly 3 times as much. So he's worth at least 150 to 180 billion at the moment. So just crazy money. She's much as divorce sucks. I can definitely attest to that. I think she's probably got a little bit better than, I guess, a few of us, apart from the fame and having to deal with people coming for the money. So, pretty wild, but very, very cool. Now, Samsung Note, if you are getting the Note 20, I did watch a thing from the boys over on Lou later. They were discussing how the Note 20 that's coming out, if you're not in America, Canada or Japan, they're going to be using their exynos chip in it. So pretty much that's us in Australia. Now that's the chip we would have copped in the S20 because for whatever reason only those 3 countries get the good Snapdragon 865 chip. So just be aware that if you are going to buy one of these phones, just have a look what processor is in it, because realistically makes up a large portion of the phone, and it's what it can and can't do, and that is super old technology, like a couple of years old, and it never got upgraded like it was supposed to, and for whatever reason the company Samsung refuses to put the good chip, that 865 Snapdragon, in the ones in Australia, Europe and everywhere else. So just be aware, it's just something to be aware that I don't think it's really right. Considering all their advertising goes towards the A65, it's got A65 Snapdragon, and I remember when the S20 came out, there was all that talk about it, and now to find out that it's highly likely that here in Australia, if you did buy one, you didn't get that chip, which means you don't have those features, and that's a huge thing towards the 8K footage, the quality, the speed, you can do stuff, slow-mo and stuff like that. So just be aware on that one. Now, Canon, over on Canon Rumors, obviously he's had that massive launch, and obviously it's been 6 months of flat out for him, and he's been asked obviously the question, what's next already? Never stops in the rumour world. We've still got 5 lenses to come from Canon for the RF range, even stuff like the 70 to 200. There's 24 mils, there's all sorts coming out over, so we've still got a fair bit in the next 6 months for the RF side for lenses. On the other stuff, there's sort of talk where is Canon going to bring out a new 5DS, a Mark V. On the DSLR side, there's not really much on there. On the EFM side, the M50 side, he's still saying that he was told that we're looking to that update, which I'm hoping for. That's really what I want. That's when I guess I'll definitely be making some changes and look to sell something to get one. But also we should still be definitely getting a new EFM lens in 2020. What that is, no obviously specs on that. I'd love to see an ultra wide lens that I can bolt straight on. So something like a 10 mil, that's not a fisheye, that would be good, because then that would come out to say a 15 mil with the crop. So that would be a very cool lens if Canon could do that for the M as just a straight mount. Obviously it'd be like a pancake lens, it'd be ultralight, and it'd be fantastic for vlogging and out doing landscape stuff. Like a 10 mil at a 1.8 or a 2, even a 2.8 would be fantastic. That'd be cool. I'd even like to see through the M series an L series lens for the M range if they could. That'd be pretty cool. Some ultra high quality glass to bring to that range as well. So, something like the Sigma has brought with the 16, the 30 and the 56, basically like L series glass. The quality is just amazing. So I'd love to see Canon try and bring, if they are going to bring in a new body, to maybe look at bringing out a premium set of lenses for the M series range. That would be pretty cool. I think that would help the longevity of that mount as well. And then last but not least, Oppo One. This July 15th, they've got a new release coming out, new phone. But the biggest part of that is not the actual phone, is a 125 watt charger coming out. So they previously had, I think it's a 100 watt charger, which was like 30 minutes to charge your phone. Well, now they're bringing out a 125 watt. Some advertising went out on the socials today, so going to be insane. Obviously, when you fast charge things, it reduces the life of your phone. But generally, they only really last a couple of years now anyway before you generally upgrade to a new one. By then, the software sort of attacks your phone anyway and makes it slower, or it's just not things. So I guess their point is, well, if we only need it to last 2 years, and I think that's the balancing point, getting to how fast can we charge it, and the battery lasts for 2 years. If the battery dies at 15 months, well, at 25 months, well, that's perfect. That gives you 2 years with your phone and super fast charging, so that's a big seller. So it'd be interesting to see what they talk about and how they're discussing, and they talk about that life of that battery on July 15th. So some more tech to come, more fishing to come. If you're into fishing, this is probably a big week for you through the ICAST. If you're into sales or on the pro circuit in Australia, obviously you'll be checking it out. You can check on Tackle Warehouse is a really good site to go and check out all the releases and see what's coming out. You can sit there and take a good look at specific items and then watch whole videos about those items. I'll try and give you as much of an update thing. I'm probably not going to do a full show this year like I did last year, just because it's really hard to sort of delve. You really need to be going in and finding your specific one. COVID's really sort of messed poor old ICAST up this year. But that's good. I guess next year will be bigger and better, and they'll learn some things this year about the online way of doing things. Rightio. Shoot over Teespring, get yourself a coffee cup, keep yourself warm. And I will see you all tomorrow night, because I'll be back at work, so it'll be a later show when it goes up. So, rightio, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the Hovea Falls video. If you haven't seen that, shoot over the channel. give that a bit of a gander tonight, where you're kicking back with a nice glass of red or a cold beer or a hot chocolate. And try that Legion Energy hot chocolate. That's quite good. If you need to recover and need a good night's sleep, I've been using it at work and it's been helping out heaps. Definitely worth a crack. Okay, I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe and I'll see you all soon. Wherever you're going that way. Catch you tomorrow. Woo.